So in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, if it wasn't a Hammer horror movie from Britain, it was going to be a knockoff with either writers from Hammer or other participants. In this case, it was Peter Cushing as the main actor in a movie called Island of Terror. Now, Island of Terror was very unique because not only was released in 1966, it was part of a Universal double feature, was quite popular, which included the very respected The Projected Man, which came out in 67. Now, Island of Terror was released by Planet Film Productions, sort of like a low-end version of Hammer. Didn't make many movies, but what they did was quite successful. And John Walco, the follower of our channel, was wondering what happened to it, and I have researched it, John, and I haven't found too much, only that for the time it was around, it was very successful. The idea for the movie came when the producer Richard Gordon read Gary Fembach's screenplay the night the silicates came. Gordon partnered with Tom Blakey of Planet Films to produce the film. Now written by, again, Edward Mann and Al Ramsden, with an original story by Mann and Ramsden, produced by Tom Blakey, starring Edward Judd, the great Peter Cushing, Carol Gray, and Eddie Byrne, cinematography by Reg Wire, edited by Telma Connell, music by Malcolm Lockyer, with Barry Gray doing electronic effects. Again, a Planet Film production. And distributed by Planet Film and Universal. Released June 3rd, 66 in Liverpool, and June 20th, 66 the rest of the UK, and February 1st, 67 in the States, 89 minutes. Now this, according to various sources, is a very basic plot that was very popular back in the day. It was shot in rural England using naturalistic colors. It provides one of the last significant examples of a horror film plot, which was common in the 1950s, in which a horrific threat introduced by scientists was resolved by others using scientific methods. Now, on a remote Petrie's Island off the east coast of Ireland, a farmer, Ian Bellows, goes missing and his wife contacts the local police. Constable John Harris finds Bellows dead in the cave without a single bone in his body and fetches the island's physician. Good Lord, Jim, he's been sucked to death. Now Dr. Reginald Landers comes in, but Landers is unable to determine what happened. He journeys in the main line to seek the help of noted London pathologist, Dr. Brian Stanley. Stanley, too, is unable even to hypothesize what could have happened, so both men seek out Dr. David West, an expert on bones and bone diseases. Although Stanley and Landers interrupt West's quiet evening at home with the wealthy jet setter Tony Merrill, West is intrigued by the problem and so agrees to accompany the two doctors back to Petrie's Island to examine the corpse. In order for them to reach the island that much faster, Merrill offers the use of her father's private helicopter in exchange for the three men allowing her to come along on the adventure. Now, once back at Petrie's Island, Merrill's father's helicopter is forced to return to mainline so he can use it, leaving the foursome effectively stranded on Petrie until the helicopter can return. Plot holes galore, ladies and gentlemen. West and Stanley learned that a group of oncology researchers led by Dr. Lawrence Phillips, seeking a cure for cancer, have a secluded castle laboratory in the island. Paying a visit to Phillips' labs revealed that he and his colleagues are just as dead and boneless as Ian Bellows. Reasoning that whatever it is must have begun in that lab, West, Stanley, and Landers gather up Phillips' notes and take them to study them. From them, they learned that in his quest to cure cancer, Phillips may have accidentally created a new life form from the silicon atom. Now, thinking the doctors are at the castle, Constable Harris bikes up there looking for them to tell him about the discovery of a dead, boneless horse, only to wander into the laboratory's test animal's room and be attacked and killed by an off-screen tentacled creature, the result of Dr. Phillips' experiments. The creatures are eventually dubbed silicates by West and Stanley and kill their victims by injecting a bone-dissolving enzyme into their bodies. The silicates are also incredibly difficult to kill, as Landers learns when he tries and fails to kill one at the castle with an axe when he first encountered him. Note the poster. Now, after learning all they can from the late Dr. Phillips' notes, West and Stanley recruit the Islanders, led by boss Roger Campbell and store owner Peter Argyle, to attack the silicates with anything they've got. Bullets, petrol bombs, and dynamite all failed to even harm the silicates. But when one is found dead, apparently having ingested a rare isotope called strontium-90 from Phillips's lab, via Phillips accidentally irradiated Great Dane, West and Stanley realized they must find more of the isotope at the castle and figure out how to contaminate the remaining silicates with it before it's too late. Do you obtain enough isotope to contaminate a herd of cattle at the cost of Stanley's left hand when he's grabbed by a silicate, and the silicates feed on these and begin to die? The story ends with evacuation of medical teams inbound from the mainland, and West commenting on how fortunate they were that this outbreak was confined to an island. Had it happened on the mainland, he notes, he might never have stopped them in time. This sets up an epilogue and a visit to the satellite program in Japan, where the technicians are duplicating Phillips' work with inevitable result. A technician walks down a corridor, hears a strange noise, and investigates before screaming. Leaves it for a sequel. Dr. Stanley, played by Peter Cushing, Edward Judd as Dr. David West, Carol Gray as Tony Merrill, Eddie Byrne as Dr. Reginald Landers, and Sam Kidd as Constable John Harris. Now, DD Video released a collector's edition of this movie on January 17, 2005, and it was released on Blu-ray by import vendor on October 28, 2014. Now, it did get some critical acclaim, but did get some bad results from reviewers. Author and film critic Leonard Maltin awarded the film 2 out of possible 4 stars. In his review, Maltin complimented the film's acting and direction, but felt that the end result was nothing special. Brian J. Dillard from AllMovie gave the film a mixed review, complimenting the film's eerie electronic soundtrack and Cushing and Gray's performances. Dillard also noted that the film was clunky and featured poor special effects. TV Guide awarded the film 2 out of 4 stars, criticizing the film's shaky plot, but commended Cushing's performance and Fisher's tight direction. Now, Radio Times gave the film 2 stars and called it a long on logic but high in exterior. Now, DVD Talk gave it 3.5 stars and called it immensely enjoyable sci-fi pot boiler. Because the scenes in there with the, not say inanimate objects, it was still considered one of the keys of the British independent horror film genre 51 in 1970, which was talked about by John Hamilton and Hemlock Books in 2013. Now, this would you would call B-level British horror, B for Britain. Not B for bad, but B for Britain. Now, Leonard Maltin's book is part of the Turner Classic Movies Classic Movie Guide from the Silent Era through 1965, the 3rd edition. And again, the TV Guide review, Island of Terror, was retrieved for this article on Halloween Day, 2017. So, ladies and gentlemen, I've never seen Island of Terror, but John says it's a good movie, and John's always given great requests. Anything involving Peter Cushing is going to be very, very cerebral and very, very direct. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we're doing with our British movie reviews to our requesters, please let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, or share. And don't forget, if you hear something in the other room, don't go into the other room. Get the heck out of there. This movie shows why. Thanks for listening. Bye.